Hello viewers, and welcome to another series of Gamesmaster. You know, life on this desert island would be horrendous if I hadn't come upon my two girl Fridays, which was a good thing. They invited me to feast upon their coconuts, and now we eke out a simple, animalistic, yet happy living as we prepare for the final 10 chapters of this great book called Gamesmaster, because this is the last ever series. Yes, the last ever series. We don't care how much Channel 4 beg us to come back. You can shout, you can scream, you can stamp your feet, you can weep great bales of tears, but in 10 weeks' time, we are taking this show off the air for good. So, girls, what's on today's show?
Joe Guest goes through a town destroying huge civic erections in Rampage.
But we begin with today's event, which we like to call the Two Big Tombs of Lara Croft.
Greetings once again, loyal viewers, and may the light of Gamesmaster shine upon your lives. It's good to be back, and you can be sure that I've prepared a series of challenges for our intrepid contestants that over the coming weeks will test their games playing ability to the limits. We begin today with the most highly awaited game of the year, Tomb Raider 2 on the PC and PlayStation. Two players must take control of the delectable Lara Croft in the race to finish a special custom level of the game which I prepared. I've issued both of my contestants with Uzi machine guns, along with an unlimited supply of ammunition. As in Tomb Raider 1, exploration will be the key to success. No stone must be left unmoved, no avenue ignored, if they wish to avoid a fruitless question. Good luck.
Like an overexcited teenager, this challenge has already started. So I'm going to ask our two contestants, Jake Peters and Paul Wilson, to pause a while, because to you at home, they're men of mystery, and you deserve to know more. Jake Peters, first of all, welcome to the show, Jake.
Thank you, Dominic.
Now, you've got a girlfriend over in Japan.
I have.
Is that quite difficult?
It is. I'm looking forward to Christmas when she's coming home.
Yeah. I mean, does she send you photographs?
She sends me emails every morning.
Uh-huh. Not photographs?
Not from her.
Not from her, from other women. Okay, Jake, let's move on to you, Paul. A different story now. You're a bit of a pants-related disaster on your way here today.
Yeah, I washed my pants in with the red, and they came out pink.
What, were they white originally?
They were very white.
So you now have pink pants?
I'm the pink pants man, yes.
Okay. Not really much I can add to that. Okay, listen, best of luck, guys. I'd like you to ask you now to put your headphones back on. This is so that they don't hear what's going on in the commentary box. Which is probably a good thing too, because I'm now joined by Rick Henderson. Rick, welcome back to the show. It's fantastic to have you.
Oh, it's fantastic to be here, and for you to have me.
Thank you. Now, Rick, there's been a couple of cosmetic changes to Lara Croft for the sequel, isn't there?
Yeah, there certainly is. Lara Croft this time has got this flowing ponytail, even when she stood still. I think she's got a head infested full of lice or something.
Right. Rick, I read that in the back of the box myself. Now, Rick, the guys have been playing already for 20 minutes, so how have they been getting on?
Right, we'll be looking at a replay now. Now, this is the point where Jake actually entered the level. He has to get to the end, but first he actually managed to kill the eagle with absolutely no hassle whatsoever. The eagle is a new feature in Tomb Raider 2, and we're running this on a 3DFX card on a PC. That's why it looks so good, and so does she. Now, he's got to negotiate these boulders. Unfortunately, he tried to shoot them in the first attempt, and then he just ran into them in the second attempt, and the last attempt he ran into a wall and got killed. He didn't manage to dodge them, but eventually got past the boulders, and he had to jump through a giant plate of glass, but unfortunately failed to catch onto the wall and crumpled into a disgusting heap. Now we're looking at Paul's attempt. Now Paul again managed to kill the eagle. It took him a little bit more effort than it took Jake, but he managed to kill that eagle and he was off and running. Now he looked at the boulders. Now of course he didn't know what Jake had done, but managed to jump over the boulders nonetheless. He jumped through the plate of glass and actually caught onto the wall, which is what he had to do, and he had to go to the right to get through this giant doorway after the chasm.
Okay, before we join the action live, Rick, whereabout are the guys on the level map?
Well, as you can see on the map, they've actually both successfully negotiated the chasm at the far left of the map. They'll have to get through the water. They've only just started to enter the water as we join them.
Okay, then let's join the action live now. And let's begin with Paul, Pink Pants Wilson. He's swimming through the water. He's just having a little look around. Some might say aimlessly, Rick.
He looks aimlessly because he's actually looking to try and get out of this water to try and find a wall to climb up.
Okay, let's look at Jake there now. Yes, Jake has found this wall. He is going to climb up it. This is another new function for Lara in the sequel.
Yeah, it certainly is. Tomb Raider 2 didn't. Tomb Raider the first one didn't have this kind of function where you could climb, and so.
Okay, then he's safely up the wall. Let's check on Paul Wilson again, and he's, if anything, more aimless. Let's go back to Jake now, and he's found some bad lads, Rick.
Yeah, he's found some bad lads who are guarding a skidoo. What he really wants to do in about the time we've got for this slice of the event is actually get on that skidoo, but he's got to shoot these bad guys before he can do it.
Okay, now that skidoo was at the top of that bit he was climbing earlier on. He's dispatched the bad guys. Go on, Lara, hop on that big, red, powerful, shiny thing. And so, with Jake tearing off into the lead, we'll leave the two guys in their exploration of Lara's huge tomb while we go to today's news.
Appearing in arcades across the country as we speak is the latest instalment of the beat-em-up that bestowed fatalities upon an unsuspecting soft, fluffy pink world. Mortal Kombat 4 brings a 3D look to the series and sports a host of new features like weapons and breakers. New characters include Wind God Fujin and arch-villain Chinook, who's based on your mum. Old Combatians are represented by the likes of Liu Kang and Scorpion. Of course, there are legions of gruesome fatalities, but if you want to see these, you'll have to tune in for our Mortal Kombat event in next week's show. Even death itself is no escape from a multi-million-dollar Hollywood sequel, but the Alien saga returns to the big screen next week. Ripley is back. She's now part lady, part alien, and much, much harder. Things start to go wrong when Ripley's alien-infested home is gate-crashed by a gang of space traders who obviously haven't seen the other three films and are relying on Winona Ryder to prevent him being quite literally turned into cold meat salad. If you have the stomach and the fake birth certificate for it, Alien Resurrections released on the 28th of November. Released on Friday is a title that many people are calling a watershed in the history of gaming. Blade Runner uses state-of-the-art real-time graphics to recreate the world of the original movie with stunning accuracy. Like the offices of Gamesmaster, it has over 70 detailed characters with their own artificial intelligence. The creators promise a different experience every time you play the game. Most impressive of all, though, is the fact that Blade Runner doesn't need a PC the size of Swindon to work and will run quite happily on a basic P90, although the Game Boy version might struggle.
Right, so we've got Jake Peters and Paul Wilson trying to get through a level of Tomb Raider 2 the quickest. If we look at the map, we can see that Jake is still ahead, but Paul's done a little bit of catching up. Let's join the action now. Let's start off with Paul's progress. Okay, Paul Wilson is out the water. He's found the skidoo. He wants to know where to go next, Rick.
Yeah, if you're looking upon, you'll see a giant block. He's going to have to negotiate around that block by moving it out of the way, so he's got to get off the skidoo.
Okay, let's look at Jake now. Jake is up there. He's moving the blocks out the way.
Yeah, he's already managed to kill 2 leopards that were guarding those blocks.
Okay, we saw a little bit at the bottom there. Back to Paul now. He's just going to try and make this massive, huge leap over into the block bit. Yeah, so he can successfully move them. Okay, yeah, they're now. Meanwhile, Jake is on the skidoo. He's driving like Billy O'Rick.
Yeah, he's driving like Billy.
There's the dead leopards again, which are alive. If we go back to Paul here, he's a bit hammered there. He's having to move all around there. They're a bit tough, these leopards, Rick. Yeah,
they're certainly one of the hardest creatures he could encounter at this level.
Okay, back to Jake now, and he's quite literally running through men. He obviously doesn't like them very much.
That is horrible.
And it's an enormous, big, huge leap over a chasm. I reckon he's about a minute or so ahead of Paul. We've got to leave them there because I can feel a stirring deep within my clams. That can only mean it's time for today's Celebrity Challenge.
My first Celebrity Challenge involves scenes of unparalleled destruction on the aptly named Rampage, the PlayStation version of the popular arcade game. Taking the role of a maladjusted giant ape, my contestant must engage in a destructive frenzy of building bashing, car slamming, and people punching, with the attempt to earn 10,000 points within a 90-second time limit. Smash and grab is the name of the game, and I advise my contestant to eat whatever they can get their hairy paws on in order to maximize points. The energy bar at the top of the screen indicates their general state of health. Of course, should this reach 0 before their time's up, their reign of terror will come to an abrupt end.
Now, in the past, we've often been unfairly accused of having celebrities on for their fantastic looks, say, as opposed to their intellectual prowess or their games-playing ability. Well, this series, that's all going to change. So please welcome tonight's celebrity, Joe Guest. Hello, Joe. Okay, now, Joe, it's funny, I get paid all this money to talk to celebrity guests, but sometimes all you want to do is just hug in life. We've known each other for a while now.
Yeah.
But we've never married.
We'll get round to it one day.
We will, as soon as I've finished litigation with my 17 ex-wives.
Yeah.
Now, Joe, I don't like doing this job. It's getting a bit boring. I think I want to become a glamour model. What tips would you give me?
A couple of breast implants, actually.
Again, quite large, actually, these just now. Okay, apart from the breast implants, anything else, or is that all I need?
Try and grow a bit of hair.
Right, not the first time that's been said.
Do something about the legs.
These are all right.
They're a bit hairy.
Oh. Okay, Joe, you are playing this game Rampage today, where you're it's kind of big monster, you're eating buildings and walking around town eating people. Have you ever done anything like that in real life?
After a few beers, usually, yeah.
Yes,
but
you have.
Not
so
recently.
You're well versed in the art of it. Okay, well, we've got lots of things going on in the show. We've got 2 challenges. We've got 2 minutes going on just now. We're going to have Joe Guest eating people in a second. One of those is getting me particularly excited. You can work out which one during this commercial break. Welcome back to Gamesmaster. We've got Jake and Paul who are fiddling around with Lara Croft's tombs over there. We have got Joe Guest who's not fiddling with my tombs, unfortunately. She's going to be playing Rampage in a second. And joining me in the commentary box with his brand new Rachel from Friends haircut is Kirk Ewing. Kirk, it's fantastic to have you.
Just want to catch the tail end of Joe there.
Very good. Now, this is not an easy game.
No, this is not an easy game.
While I struggle to regain my composure, give Joe some tips, please.
Okay, I mean, basically the tip for the game is cause complete chaos. I mean, imagine yourself as some sort of chemically mutated giant ape, right? And hold that emotion and then let it flow through your fingers into the game. So that's it. Eat everything you can and smash everything in sight. That's it. It's Rampage.
Okay, thank you very much, Kirk. All right, Joe, you have 90 seconds to get 10,000 points on this level. The best of luck, Joe. Your time begins now. Okay, so off goes Joe. At the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see the energy bar of our gorilla. He's called George. She's busy chomping the buildings to get the points here. Count the points up here now. 1,400 points, a good start.
A good start, yeah. You can see as she smashes the building inside appears some food. The best thing to do then is just smash again and grab it.
Oh no, what?
She hit a toilet there. Now, you don't want to be scoffing toilets. That's really a bad thing to do. It will spray you back off the building.
And that's a general good tip for any children watching as well. Toilet eating, not good. 2,800 points. 26 seconds. What happened there?
She frazzed herself on one of these neon signs on the outside of the building. You want to wait till they're off and then hit them. Get this guy, get that guy.
Eat the wee guy. No, she knocked him off. She could have eaten him, Kirk.
I think that was Richard Nixon there, actually former President of the United States of America.
Well spotted, Kirk.
It's
10 points.
The scale, you see.
Okay, that's one building down there. 4,500 points. 45 seconds gone. This is halfway through the time. Halfway through the points. She's doing brilliantly, Kirk.
She's on to the posh houses now, as you can see, Dominic.
They've got parachutes because they're posh.
That's right. They expect this kind of thing in this neighbourhood. You know, they can just leap out the building.
5,900 points here. She's got about 31 seconds left. This is not bad. It's going to be very close.
There's a group of school children. Get them, get them.
Get the kids don't know she's got for this sports thing.
If it was me and I was a giant hungry girl, I'd be eating more people. I'd be tempted to stuff them down like human French fancies.
Okay, 8,600 points. She's got about 50, 60 seconds left. This is very good though. She puked up.
That is a bag of puke. If you eat the puke, then you puke, or something like that.
It sounds logical to me. 8,900 points here. She's got to the end of the time. 9,000 points.
She's got the one.
She might nearly do it. She's on fire. She's back. She's running out of time. Eat something.
Eat that guy there.
Eat that guy. Yeah, 1,200 points in the nick of time. Joe Guest has a chance. Joe, I am stunned, and not for the obvious reasons. That was a fantastic display there. You went past some school children at some point, but you decided not to eat them.
To be honest, I was concentrating on getting up the building, and I didn't want to eat the children.
No.
So little and cute.
Exactly. They're cute and they're nice. You did have a problem with a chopper, though.
I usually do.
This is why Joe Guess is the best girl in the whole world. And but the buildings themselves, you got the large objects between your hands. You sorted them out, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did. Right, well, I'm very pleased that the very first golden joystick of the series goes to the lovely Joanne Guest. Right, we're going to move from swapping smutty lines with the lovely Joanne Guest to talking about how the Tomb Raider 2 challenge is going with Rick Henderson. Life is full of such contrasts. How's it going, Rick?
Well, it's getting pretty exciting over here at the moment, Dominic. They're now neck and neck, but as we join the map, you can see they actually had a few problems earlier. They got to a drawbridge where they needed a key to get past. This, of course, is where Jake actually managed to find the area that the drawbridge was in. As he turns round, we'll see the drawbridge that he had to unlock. He had to get off the skidoo and walk over to the lock. He suddenly realised, oh, hell, I haven't got a key. Of course, Paul also got to exactly the same stage, so he managed to actually suss out that he needed to get a key that was earlier on in the level. So they've both gone back into that level to search for that key.
OK, thanks, Rick. Now, if we join the action live, let's go to Jake. He's still running around on his skidoo, looking for that key. Rick, he doesn't seem to be having much luck. Let's go over now, then, to Paul Wilson. Please, thank you very much. And now, he looks as if he might have found something promising here, Rick.
Yeah, he's decided to get off the skidoo. If you remember in Tomb Raider, Lara sometimes looks for clues. She'll actually look to where a clue might be. Maybe it's down this pit. Yes, I think she has.
It's a gaping one. OK, then, that looks fine. Let's go back to Jake. He still has it. Oh, this looks like he's kind. No, he's not. I thought he was near it for a minute, but he's still just wandering around on his skidoo. I think he needs to go off it, but let's go back to little Paul, who's doing much, much better. He's climbing down this pit now, looking for the key, Rick.
Yeah, if he jumps there, he's just seen something that might be over this ridge. Now, if he actually runs through here, it does look shiny and metallic, and it's a key!
Oh, he's got it, he's picked it up then. So Paul's made up for his bad start. He's now in the lead. Just to let the tension build even larger in our trousers, let's go to today's reviews.
With the entire population of Japan owning at least 2 copies of this game each, this has been heralded as the biggest console release in history. It's an RPG, but with over 70 hours of gameplay, it's absolutely huge and tells an epic story of mystery, intrigue, romance and flashy pullback camera shots. It's the most eagerly awaited PlayStation title ever, Final Fantasy VII.
So at last, the official English version of Final Fantasy VII has reached our shores. This is Sony's big attempt to push the RPG out of the clique and into the mass market.
This game is beautiful. I mean, the emotional connection you have with the characters, the longevity of the game, the detail, the beautiful graphics, everything about this game is absolutely stunning.
The basic concept behind Final Fantasy VII is to take the role-playing game and make it appeal to a much broader audience. And to do that, they've made the whole experience far more cinematic. There are cutscenes, added touches, wipes, new moves into combat sections, and the whole thing feels more like a film.
Because this game has been so hyped, when you first put it into your machine and play it, you're expecting something completely extraordinary. Unfortunately, it's not quite as immediate as that. You are disappointed for the first couple of minutes, but believe me, that dissolves away. This game is incredibly deep, and you will be completely engrossed. Every time you think you know where you're at with this game, there's a sudden change or twist in the plot. You never quite know what's going on. Once you think you've got a grip on the game, you suddenly find out you haven't, and your whole entire world is turned upside down.
If you've never bought an RPG before, this is definitely one to explore. Final Fantasy VII is still a part of a very distinct genre, but it's a great story, and the appeal of great stories is always universal.
I've always had a lot of time for little blokes who throw bombs, so I am totally tumescent about the arrival of Bomberman on the N64. The game's multiplayer modes include a new team battle option as well as the classic 4-player free-for-all. There's also a 1-player adventure mode where you wander around enormous 3D levels, planting bombs, solving puzzles, and wondering where all your mates have gone.
The adventure mode is pretty awful all round. It bears a striking resemblance at first to a Mario kind of game. Unfortunately, it's nowhere near. There's a lack of creativity, there's a lack of depth.
The one interesting addition to the multiplayer mode of this Bomberman is the team battle, and this is where teams of players guard their crystals. Your own personal safety is no longer an issue. You have to guard your own colour crystals and destroy the other players. It's interesting because it actually makes use of the 3D levels instead of ignoring the fact that they're 3D and trying to apply the old style gameplay to this new scenario.
Now don't get me wrong, if the original versions of Bomberman hadn't existed, this would be a very good game, but unfortunately they do.
Very near the end of the show. Since the beginning, we've had Jake Peters of Paul Wilson racing through a level of Tomb Raider 2 to see who can compete at the first. Paul Wilson is in the lead just now. If we look at the map, we can see he's at the drawbridge, and Jake is some way behind. Let's join the action now live. Let's go to Paul Wilson first. He's back by the drawbridge. He's got the key now. I think he's going to raise it now, Rick.
Yeah, all he wants to do is put the key into the lock, and the drawbridge will raise automatically. Here we go. There
Hey, look at that top drawbridge raising action. Okay, let's go and find out how Jake is doing. Oh, he's getting there where the key is, Rick.
Yeah, he's only just getting to the key, though. He's also got to then run it all the way back towards the drawbridge. As we know, Paul's already gone there.
It's not looking good. Let's go back to Paul then. Now Paul's getting two enemies in Skidoos, Rick.
Yeah, as in Tomb Raider 1, Lara can jump and shoot at the same time, and that's brilliant technique he needs to use.
Okay, and that's the two bad guys dealt with. Now he's somehow got to do. Is this a pushing situation?
Yeah, it's
here,
a
Rick?
pushing situation. That was in Tomb Raider 1 as well. We saw pulling earlier, that wasn't in there, but pushing is. He's now going through to the very, very last section. This is the last major section that he has to negotiate, and he will have won.
Okay, he's moving in there, but no, there's two more bad blocks. He's got to deal with them, Rick.
Well, he's doing it very, very adequately now, though. I think he's been playing all day, so I think he shouldn't have any trouble with that.
Okay, that's the bad guys dealt with now. Into the water. He's very near the end. Let's check on the Jake, though. Is Jake close enough to catch up? He's only at the drawbridge,
He's only just at the drawbridge. He's only just about to put the key in. He is miles behind.
Let's forget Jake. Let's go back to Paul. Come on board with Jake. Here comes Paul. He's coming out of the water now. He's just going to go round this bend, and that's it. Paul Wilson is the winner! Okay, guys, first of all, Jake, what went wrong for you then during that?
Well, I sort of lost it looking for the key. It was just too much time on the skidoo.
But I suppose you can console yourself with the fact you have a lovely girlfriend in Japan.
Yep, and at least she wasn't here to see it.
Yeah. Oh, hang on a minute. Oh, no, sorry, she just emailed us to say you're chucked. Sorry, Jake. Paul, fantastic display there. Totally in the bag. Was it down to a certain lucky pair of underwear?
I think those pink pants.
Yeah, that was it.
Definitely.
What do you think of the game itself? Do you think it's better than Tomb Raider 1?
Very good graphics, very good gameplay, classic. Very, very good, definitely.
And Lara Croft, what do you think of her? Do you think she's an attractive girl?
Very attractive.
Yeah. You know she's not real?
I know she's not real, but I've seen the man, you know, not the...
The man?
Not the man.
We should probably leave it there.
I went to a...
Yes, that's all right, mate, don't worry. Just digging deep hole there, mate, don't worry. But because you've done enough to win to go to Gamesmaster joystick, which goes to Paul Wilson. Okay, that is it for the first show of the series. 9 more to go. That means 9 weeks until television becomes darker. Then a coal miner at the end of his shift wandering home at night only to find his lights don't work. See you next week. Ta-ra.